Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another exciting edition of Sports Fearless Daily Updates. You'll be checking out interesting updates from our very own Super Eagles and their players' camps, same as some exciting updates from Nigerian football. Before I do that, if you're new on this platform, quickly, let's do it together. Subscribe to the channel, hit on the post notification bell for more updates. Show love to this video and platform by liking and sharing to other social media platforms. As usual, my name is Solomon Kwajasante, your only nomenclature with the engineer's philosophy in sports, your only Ghanaian who has declared full support for Nigeria sports with a Nigerian name, the only one, Solomon Chukwu Emeka. Please, let's drop our decent comments in the comment box for special shoutouts in my subsequent videos. I'll also be giving out some shoutouts in this video. And no more, straightforward. Let's get into the video. I'm the type who strongly believe that future of senior team lies how well you transition your youth's prospects. Let's take advantage of our very own national teams in Nigeria, from under 17 to under 20, from under 20 to the under 23, and from under 23 to the various senior national teams. Talking of Super Eagles and Super Falcons. And with this words, as I've explained, transition of youth prospects. This has been worse recently from former under 20 head coach of Nigeria. Talking of former head coach of our Flying Eagles, Ladan Boso. According to him, he deserves that credits of trying to discover 3 Super Eagles players. There's a time you've seen them in our very own Super Eagles, excluding one player who didn't make it to the 2025 AFCON tournament in Morocco due to injury. He spoke about Benjamin Frederick, our very own Tochukwu Inadi, and Salim Lawal Fago. These are all players who have stepped into the Super Eagles from Nigeria National Under-20 team. They were all part of the Nigeria National Under-20 team who participated in the 2023 World Cup tournament in Argentina. And according to the exact words of this former Under-20 coach of the Flying Eagles, it's very unfair to talk about the rise of these players without talking about the person who took them from nowhere to the limelight. He also talked about their progress, especially Benjamin Frederick playing for FCV Dundee in the Belgium Jupiter Pro League, same as Salim Lawal Fago playing for Victoria Pleasant in Czech Republic, and Tochukwu Inadi recently joining Olympic Marseille. These are the exact words coming in from former under-20 head coach of the Flying Eagles, Ladan Boso. And let me take advantage of Benjamin Frederick in this update and talk about his latest injury updates. As I've already reported to you, he's still recuperating, and at this moment, he hasn't returned to full-scale training. Whatever it is about his recovery, he'll keep you updated. But what you can see on this platform is that things are getting better. Though he is getting better in recovering, it will be very difficult for him to be part of the final man squad for the 4-nation invitational tournament in this month from the 27th to the 31st of March 2026. There's a brief update coming in from the camp of our very own Benjamin Frederick. On that note, let's have a full glare of the words from former under-20 head coach of the Flying Eagles, Ladan Boso, talking about these 3 players or the trio of the Super Eagles. He started with these words: "It will not be fair to mention their rise without mentioning how I brought them from nowhere to limelight. No one knew Lawal, Frederick, or Inadi until their exploits for my team at the World Cup. It's what youth football is all about and not necessarily winning. I can't help but feel proud." He ended up with these words: "Inadi is at Marseille and Lawal just moved to the top team in Czech Republic." He's talking about Victoria Pleasant. "It's a matter of time before they join Frederick as mainstay. I have no doubts in their abilities." These are the exact words coming in from Ladan Boso. I don't know whether you resonate with his words or not, but he has spoken about them and you've seen their exploits in our Super Eagles team, especially talking of Tochukwu Inadi and also Benjamin Frederick. Though Salim Lawal Fago was part of the 28-man squad for the just ended 2025 AFCON tournament in Morocco, but we didn't see any minutes of him. And there's the time he's talking at length about them that he deserves that credit. We have to give him that due respect that he was able to discover these players into the Super Eagles team. That is it, and these are the words coming in from Ladan Bosso. Away from his side, let's talk about our Super Eagles returning to full action this month from the 27th to the 31st of March 2026. I've spoken at length about the Four Nation Invitational Tournament, which is slated to take place in Jordan. With the escalating military tensions in the Middle East, things are very difficult. Things are unrest, and you don't know how it will be. Without the official communique about the amendments or the cancellation of this tournament, we have to talk about the preparation of our Super Eagles team towards this tournament. Of course, there will be new players in the team. You have some old players being the core of the team for this invitational tournament. I've already spoken about some 5 new players that Eric Shaw is trying to convince into the Super Eagles team. I talk about Atta Okonkwo. Now Atta Okonkwo is into the Super Eagles team. I've spoken about Kanichuku Emeka. The recent update about him is that he's still contemplating as to whether he will switch to play for Nigeria or not. I've spoken about Emmanuel Fernandez. I've spoken about a lot of players. And in this update, let me quickly go through the updates coming up from 4 new players who might be part of the Super Eagles team, even not in the Four Nations Invitational Tournament, but subsequent matches. And the first player to talk about is Dion Hoogewerf, who plays his club football for SBV Vitesse in the Eredivisie Divisie in Netherlands. That is the second tier in Netherlands. This is a player who has enhanced his reputation. Though his club side is not forcing in the first division in Netherlands, he has played as many as 29 matches, scored 9 goals and provided 1 assist. He's a top scorer for his club side. Out of 20 clubs in that division, he has able to contributed his quota for his club side, but it's not enough. They are 18 out of 20, meaning they are the relegation side, trying to come out into how they will survive in this Division 1 before thinking about next season. Maybe they'll make a progress into the Dutch Eredivisie. This is a player who has the dream of playing for the Super Eagles, despite his eligibility to play for the London national team. His mother is from Nigeria. His father is from Netherlands. This is a player whose ultimate target is to play at the UEFA Champions League in terms of club side, but the dream at the national side is to play for our very own Super Eagles. According to him, he is ever ready in helping Nigerians. He has seen a lot about Nigerians, and he has seen that things are not working out for some people. Whatever he has in his hands, he will try to manage and also take care of certain people, and this is the best moment for him into the Super Eagles and into Nigeria. Let's check exact words of this player, but let me just authenticate his background checks for you to know how best he can be fit into the Super Eagles team if Eric Sekwichel is ready for him into the Super Eagles. He was born on the 27th of February 2003. Currently, he's just 23 years of age. He plays predominantly as a left winger. He can play as a right winger and same as a centre forward. Exact words from Dion Hoogewerf, who plays his club football for SBV Vitesse in the Eredivisie division in Netherlands. Let's have a full glare on our screens as I quickly go through for you. He started with these words: "It's my mother's country. I have been there a few times and have said I want to help people there." He proceeded with these words: "We are privileged with what we have. That is just the way it is. If they had the same opportunities as me, they wouldn't have used them the way I did. I thought about that for a long time. They would have eaten up everything to succeed. We have a certain complacency. We are very pampered. We get so many opportunities to succeed. You shouldn't be too careless with that." So these are the exact words coming in from Dion Hoogewerf. He proceeded with these words. Let me just add up. They would have eaten up everything to succeed, as I stated. And he ended up with everything as that Nigerian culture suits me better. There is a better chance of being remembered in African countries. There are so many good footballers. When I was 16, I had a chance to play for Nigeria. Then COVID hits and I was playing for the Dutch youth teams. This season, we reconnected to play for Nigeria. And he ended up with this statement: I have to play at a higher level. This is the time he has to play at a higher level. Playing at the UEFA Champions League, same as playing for the Super Eagles. There's that dream of Dion Hoogewerf, who plays his club football for SBV Vitesse in Netherlands, their Division 1 or second tier. That is the latest from his side, and that is the first player I have to talk about him as new player who might be part of our very own Super Eagles. Not even in the Four Nation tournament, but in our subsequent matches. The second player to talk about him, I've once spoken about him, and his name is Alessandro Mandali, who plays his club football for Genoa. This is a player who predominantly plays as a centre-back. He was born on the 25th of October 2003, so currently he is 22 years of age. This is a player who is doing well at Genoa as a defender and is very open to playing for the Super Eagles. According to him, when he gets invitation, he will just contemplate about the invitation and take decision outright. Exact words from Alessandro Mandali. Let's have it on our screens as I quickly go through for you. He started with these words: when a call comes in, I will decide. I will listen to my parents, but I will make the decision. It will be something very personal. I was in Nigeria as a child and I would like to return. I have relatives there. I listen to a lot of Afrobeats. I love it. Like my mother's jollof rice, spicy with peppers. Oh, wow. I follow the African Cup of Nations and cheered for Nigeria. Exact words from Alessandro Mandali on Sokolo SIX, and that is it, coming in from his camp. His mother is from Nigeria and his dad is from Italy. This is a player who is very open, even looking at the West on the screens as we all had a full glare. He's very certain to play for Nigeria. Though when invitation comes, he will sit down to decide with his parents, but is ever ready to represent our very own Super Eagles. He likes the jollof, is very spicy with the pepper, with that pomo and everything. It's nice for him. And this is about the second player. Now let's talk about the third new player. I've once spoken about him on this platform, and his name is Emmanuel Fernandez, who plays his club football for Rangers in the Scottish Premier League. This is a player who is performing. Predominantly, he plays as a centre-back. He can also play as a right-back. Across all competitions this season, he has played 24 games. He has scored 6 goals as a centre-back and as a right-back from Rangers. So you can just contemplate and know how best he will be fit into the Super Eagles team. Aside that, let me also talk about Alessandro Mandali. He has also played 24 games across all competitions. He has scored a goal and he has assisted twice. So you can just oppose these two players and get to know how best they will be fit into the Super Eagles defensive line. This is a player who is doing well and he has grown in leaps and bounds. And Eric Shell got wind of his rise. He has spoken to him and he has succeeded in luring him into the Super Eagles team. Just expect him in our subsequent matches. I can't emphatically state it on this platform that he'll be part of our final match squad for this 4 invitational tournaments. But this is a player who is seen and he has picked up his Nigerian passports. He is ever ready to represent our very own Super Eagles. So this is brief about this player. And the last player to talk about is our very own Michael Kyod, who plays his club football for Brentford in the English Premier League. Predominantly, he plays as a right back. He can play as a left back. He can also play as a right midfielder. This is a player that Eric Sekuchel initiated conversation and he was encouraged with the feedback from him. And this is the time Eric still wants to meet him again just after the end of the season. And we get to know how best he can lure him into the Super Eagles team. We all know that his future into the Italy national team is quite far. It's of non-existence. As to me, at this moment, it's of non-existence. It's or a distant reality for him to be part of Italy's senior national team. He was born in Italy, but both parents are from Nigeria. Dad and mom are all from Nigeria. And this is the time it will be very difficult for him to be fit into the Italy national team. And if he doesn't get that's not to play for them at the end of the season with a conversation with Eric Sequichel. Then he will pledge his full allegiance into Nigeria to our very own Super Eagles. That is the latest coming in from the camp of these new players. I've spoken about Dion Hoogewerf, who plays for SBV Vitesse. I've also spoken about Alessandro Mandali, who plays for Genoa in Italy. I've spoken about Emmanuel Fernandez, who also plays for Rangers in Scotland. And the last player was Michael Kyod, who plays as a right back for Brentford. He's that kind of guy who is having that throwing expertise. He's very good when he throws for Brentford in the English Premier League. You've all been watching him and you know who this player is and what he can do into our very own Super Eagles team. On that note, let me end everything from the preparation of our very own Super Eagles ahead of this Four Nation Invitational Tournament. And at this moment, Eric Sequichel has finally settled on the goalkeeper number 1 for the Super Eagles, and it's our very own Francis Uzoho. We all know that at this moment, Stanley Nwabali is inactive after terminating his contract mutually with Chippa United. He is yet to join any club of his interest, and we can't risk him for this Four Nation tournament. And this time, Eric Sequichel has now settled on Francis Uzoho. People will be asking the question, why not Maduka Okoye? Per the report that I have, suggests that Maduka Okoye has been snubbed by Eric Sequichel. We all know what's happened before the 2025 AFCON tournament. He snubbed Nigeria for his very own club, Ignis. If it's not coming in as number 1 at that time, then he has to go and cement his position in Ignis. That's what's happened. And at this moment, Eric Sequichel is not very happy with what transpired at that time. And this is the time he's settling on Francis Uzoho as number 1 goalkeeper. Though Uzoho will be facing competition from Alta Chukwueze, Okonkwo, and other goalkeepers into the team. But this is the right time he has settled on Francis Uzoho to be the number 1 goalkeeper for our very own Super Eagles. A lot is coming. It would have been an automatic decision for Eric Sequichel to settle on Maduka Okoye, but it is what it is. And that is it, coming in from Nigerian football, from the camp of our very own Super Eagles, from the camp of Super Eagles players, and other exciting revelations ahead of our Four Nation Invitational Tournament in Jordan. So that is it. On this note, I will end here with my presentation. I was being supported by my hardworking chief editor, Emmanuel Kwame Asiedu, and my amazing graphic designer, Dominic. Before I take a leave of you, let me give special shout out to these amazing commenters. Special shout out to Mr. Peter Osai. Shout out to Afonso Izzy. I do appreciate your support. Special shout out to Amigion and to John Miriam Tochuku. I do appreciate your support. Ibrahim Ahmed, Yaya Abdullah Musa. I do appreciate your support. Special shout out to B. Adeli Khan. Special shout out to other cherished commenters under my previous videos. Subsequently, I'll add up more shout outs. Until you meet again on this platform. Yes, bye bye for now.